It's time right now to talk a little Aztecs football. I told you Rocky was going to be Rocky, and he was yesterday. He did his Tuesday media thing that he does every week, and I mean, I have heard it. If I've heard it once, I've heard it a million times. Service academies, triple option, greatest offense ever designed. No way we can stop it. This is the most dangerous game the Aztecs have ever played in the history of football. And in some ways, he's totally right. I will grant him it is a dangerous game for the Aztecs. And joining us right now is the offensive coordinator at San Diego State on our Corky's hotline. Jeff Horton is with us here on Ben & Woods on the Mighty 1090. Coach, it's good to have you back on this morning. Congratulations. Getting the win on the blue turf of Boise is always an accomplishment.
Hey, thanks a lot. Mookie, I'm going to throw the Mookie out there. Maybe I'll get those tickets.
You sound like you could be a Dirk Bentley fan, Coach.
I'm from Texas, so you know I am.
So how nice was it? I mean, you didn't have to put up 30 points to win that game. The defense came up and performed unlike I had seen up to this point this season, Coach, against the Broncos.
Yeah, thank God we didn't have to put up a bunch of points. I tell you what, that was the most impressive defensive performance against the high-octane offense that I had seen. It was fun to watch. Unfortunately, we didn't do as well offensively, but we scraped it around and found a way to get in the zone a couple of times thanks to the defense giving us some turnovers and everything. But, Boise's a tremendous team offensively. Coach Long and them on defense, kids played their tails off, and then Boise's good on defense too, and playing up there, as Lau, we had a lot of pre-snap penalties, which is my fault because I didn't prepare our kids well enough for that. But several guys stepped up. We were down a few guys. A lot of guys played for their first time or played extensively that they haven't done before, and it was great to see them respond in that kind of environment.
Talking to Jeff Horton, Sdsu offensive coordinator here on Ben & Woods this morning, and I made the point going into break that when a defense has got to go against the triple option, it gives the offense, it puts more pressure on you guys, doesn't it? Because you got to make the most of your opportunities with the football.
No doubt. It's limited possession, so a couple of things come out of that. One, you got to really do something with the ball when you do get it, and then two, you obviously got to eliminate turnovers because if you give it back to them, you might not see it for 5 or 6 minutes because they'll ground that. People thought our offense was slow. That's even a slower offense on the other side there. They'll ground that clock, and if you look back at we're in our 8th year now with Coach Long. All our games against the Air Force have been down to the wire. They've all been great games, and we anticipate the same thing Friday night.
Well, speaking of Friday night, Aztecs and Air Force, 6 o'clock kickoff at Sdsu Stadium. Rocky was a little concerned about just playing a game a few hours early on a Saturday last week. This is a whole day early. What sort of challenges and adjustments do you have to make, Coach, for the short week and playing on Friday night?
Well, it was a quick turnaround. We had to come back. I mean, you get that huge win on Saturday and really didn't get a huge chance to celebrate it because we were right back in early Sunday morning. We practiced Sunday afternoon with the kids, and, Sunday was really a Monday, like today's really a Thursday for us, so we've kind of had to cram a lot of things into the week and play in Air Force. Not only offensively do they do what they do, but defensively a high-pressure defense, ton of blitzes, ton of different things, and trying to get it all prepared for it with one less day makes it a challenge. But our kids have responded to it. We've tried to keep it the same routine. Our Sunday was like a Monday practice, and the last 2 days have been like Tuesday, Wednesday, and today kind of the final tune-up, so to speak. So I think our guys will really be ready, and we got to tell them, hey, really this game is more important than last week because, you only get the 8 conference games to try to get in that championship game. So this one's as important as it was a week ago, and even more so now because it's the next game.
Talking to San Diego State offensive coordinator Jeff Horton here on Ben & Woods. And Coach, you mentioned shorthanded, obviously, got the job done against Boise. But what is the latest update on the health of your quarterback, Christian Chapman, your running back, Juwan Washington, and any other injuries you've been going through on the offensive side of the ball?
Yeah, you want to keep going?
Yeah, I know you got more. I don't have time for all of them.
Yeah. You know what? Christian's looking good in practice. He's getting back, moving around a lot better. He's getting closer and closer and doing more and more things. Juwan Washington will still be out several more weeks, I would guess. Isaac Lassard at fullback, still out for probably another week or two. Ethan Dado at receiver, he's beat up some. He's very doubtful for this week. We lost Zach Thomas a couple of weeks ago, starting guard, the knee surgery, so he's done for the year. But, that's football, and, I know coaches always say that. They're not going to spot, they're not going to give you 5 downs, or they're not going to make you only go 7 yards. You still got to play it the right way and find guys to get it done.
Coach, and I know that you guys hate the quarterback controversy question and the issue that arises, but
we don't.
We don't. Well, that's kind of we kind of have to ask that question. How do you guys? you don't have to give an answer. How do you guys handle that? I mean, do you go in a room? Do you sit down and all talk about it, or is ultimately that's Coach Long's decision?
Well, it's obviously Coach Long is the head coach. We weigh in heavily on it and his wishing, and we sit as an offensive staff and discuss things, and then with the kids too. The one thing you have to do with I always say with the kids, you just got to be upfront and honest with them. We always tell them that they might not like what you're saying, but you want to be truthful with them, and when that time comes, we got main thing is Christian. In my eyes, has got to be 100%, because I'm not going to put him on the field if he can't protect himself and subject him to those kind of hits or getting injured further. So when we feel, and we can tell by watching him in practice, and he's honest too, that when he feels 100% confident in his leg, then we'll obviously have to make a decision.
Coach, I always felt like one of the toughest things about your job as offensive coordinator, running the San Diego State offense, is staying patient. And sometimes the running game just takes a little while to get going in a game. You got to wear down an opposing defense. We saw it against Boise State. You take enough opportunities, eventually that hole breaks, and Jordan Byrd went for daylight in the second half. But you got to keep going to the well over and over again. How do you manage that when maybe it's not working for a couple of series, and you want to think, should we do something else, or do we just keep doing our thing and knowing and trusting that eventually we're going to break a big one?
On top of my play sheet, I always write pound it and poise to try to keep reminding myself and just stay with the plan. As you mentioned, it's not always clean. All of a sudden, those 2 and 3 and 4 yard runs start turning into 7 or 8, and then you pop the big one on them. But that's been our formula. Coach Long, I know we're playing great defense, so offensively, we want to fit into the peg, so to speak, into the hole with that, to protect the ball, to keep the ball, to continually try to wear down a team and not try to get in the track meet, so to speak. That's just not our style. I know the spread guys out there, they don't believe in time of possession or any of that. It's, hey, let's go, and I always tell people, and I think I told you guys, that the head coach is also the D coordinator. Last thing I'm going to do is be on and off that field in 20 or 25 seconds and have him looking down at me like, what the hell are you guys doing,
What is the magic, though, with the running backs at San Diego State? I mean, it's not normal just to go from DJ Pumphrey to Rashad Penny to Juwan Washington, and he gets hurt, and Chase Jasmine steps up, and then there's always another backup to that guy that's ready to step in. What's the secret sauce, Coach?
I think it's just kind of passed along for those guys. Usually when they come in early, they're learning and watching from the older guys, and the older guys do a great job of mentoring them and explaining to them, hey, when I first got here, this is how it worked. I kind of had this little role, and then it developed into a bigger role, and then it developed, into a premier role, so to speak. So I think the older guys do a great job of teaching the younger guys, and I try to emphasize to the guys that, hey, you work hard in practice, you show me that you really like football, you're all in with it. Then it's my job to find a way to get you on the field. I might only be for a few plays here, a few plays there, but if you show me you really want to be a part of this thing, then that's my job to get them in and hopefully get them a little taste of success where they continue to work and then just continuing to, try to push them to greatness.
I know it's a little early for scoreboard watching. Is it just me, though, or is the Mountain West taking a nice step forward this year? I mean, I look at the results in the conference, and Fresno State's playing well again, but then I see Hawaii has stepped up. They're already 3-0 in the Mountain West. Utah State looks like a much better team than they've been in the past. What's going on right now in the Mountain West from your perspective?
Well, I think it's really, really balanced. I mean, Utah State, they put up a ton of points. We watched them, I think it was last week. They played on Friday nights when we were in Boise. We watched that, and they, dismantled BYU. You've had SC or Fresno State beat SC. You've had a lot of teams beat, so-called Power 5 teams and all that crap, So it's, I think it's really a good league, top to bottom. Wise really jumped on the scene this year, and it's every week, and you see it every week in football. I mean, look, a couple weeks ago, Virginia Tech, when they lost back there at Old Dominion. I mean, every week's a grind. You got to grind. It's hard to win. I tell people it's hard to win. I just want to win by one and back on up out of there. Anything more than that's bonus, because it's hard. It was like last week at Boise. You're almost, you get a win like that, it's almost like a relief, instead of just going, nuts and stuff, just to get that win and move on to the next one.
And, of course, what that means is what you said earlier, Coach. No margin for error, no weeks off. If you want to make that conference championship game, you can't have a letdown. You can't have a setback on Friday night. So good luck against the Air Force Falcons. Again, Friday night, 6 o'clock kickoff at Sdsu Stadium. Coach Jeff Horton, great to have you on Ben and Woods again.
Hey, great to be with you guys. We'll see you at the concert.
All right,
Coach. Paul, get him some tickets, man.
He knows can Friday nights? I think he's going to be busy.
Oh, he's going to be busy. It is Friday. Son of a gun.
Where the hell is Coach Horton?
Where'd he go?
Where's my offensive coordinator? Oh, he went to the Dirks Bentley concert because he knew the code word on Ben and Woods.